Here's what I noticed, Allison, watching you in action. I know we're supposed to be very detail oriented. We're told that, go in school or your first resume, but I was watching how you took care of these clients. I got to do some training for some of your clients in the health space, and they had a product that's out there, and that's one of the lanes that you're in. But I noticed you wanted to make sure each of them, that everybody's temperament was okay, that everybody felt comfortable, that they knew the messages of what they were sharing with the media. You're in PR, and I'm there to help support them with some of that messaging. And I'm just curious, over the time that you've been a publicist, what did you realize that the client really, really needs? I mean, I got to watch you in action, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about this and the changing face of PR.
Well, first of all, Jess, that was such a fun experience. You are such a pro. I've worked with so many media trainers over the almost 40 years I've been in this business. And the one that I worked with for so many years and trained everyone from Miss Universes to doctors retired, sadly. And I'm so glad that I found you because you were amazing. The kind of details that are really important is to make sure that you are set up for what it is that we need. So when we come in to work with a client, we will create a platform so that the same information is going out over and over and over again. There's lots of repetition of message. So in the case with this client, which was a 1MD nutrition supplement client, I wanted to make sure that the doctors understood what their lead-in line was every time that they did an interview that was helping to encapsulate what the product is about before they even give their own personal answer. So
Mm.
I probably drove you crazy with sending you all kinds of messaging beforehand, but it's really, really important.
No, I was impressed because we all need to be on the same team. And, when I was a TV producer, I did that. I was a producer for 13 years, ABC, NBC, Fox. There were some PR folks who seemed like maybe they were phoning it in, and definitely not the case here, because you were not bothering me at all. I was thinking, great,
Okay.
we want everybody on the same page. We want them to say the right thing. And something I see all the time, you tell me if you see this. No matter who the client is, no matter how wonderful or not or whatever they are, they tend to go rogue. They'll do the first answer, and then it's kind of, all over the place. And then afterwards, they say it was like an out of body experience. I don't even know what happened. And then I remember when I'd be in the green room, the publicist, pulling out every last hair. What's your experience been with that? And these were a great group of folks. They really took the direction. But what's your experience with that over the years?
Oh my gosh, that's so absolutely true. I mean, people are not naturally comfortable on a camera. It takes a certain kind of person, and I'll tell you that of the different kinds of entrepreneurs and business people that we work with, doctors especially are usually the worst offenders because they're experts, right? They have a
Yeah.
long education. They want to tell you everything that they know. But in the case of 1MD Nutrition, every single one of them needed to start with, I believe in the power of nutrition, which is not a natural thing for a doctor to say. And then explain from their perspective why these supplements that help your heart or help your gut will
Mm,
be a benefit to you.
right.
So, gosh, I mean, there have been times many years ago when I was a puppy, I worked for the Miss Universe and Miss USA pageants.
Right.
Funny stories about this. I remember not knowing well enough who the reporter was who was coming on site to do an interview with these girls, and they brought, like, a live broadcast camera, and, they started asking controversial questions, that I literally had to jump in front of the camera and say, "Oh, sorry, this is over," and, I mean, sorry. I mean, that was just what had to happen because I think they were
Right.
talking to, like, Miss Egypt and Miss, like more and Miss Israel, who were at that time were mortal enemies, and it was really bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, and they're bringing it right, world politics into it. And even with these group of wonderful doctors and lawyers and a lot of financial folks, they're very cerebral people. They've done a lot of training, and that's great for their profession. And where, you come in is to say, I get that. We have to make it accessible for the public. And in the case of these folks, were actually part of creating the blend of this for these supplements. They each were part of a different supplement for brain health or prostate health, or like you said, gut health. And they needed to be able to articulate it and not get in the weeds. And they knew that because, well, they, had all that training that led up to it. And they want to tell everybody exactly what's what. And that's where it came in. And to have that right starter line, and to also tell people maybe about the pain of not thinking about taking some of these supplements and putting your health first and waiting until it's too late and all the issues that pop up. But that's so interesting. Yeah, you jumping in and all those moments. You didn't have to jump in with them. They did all everything that they needed to do.
Well, it was
So,
pretty
but
sweet.
I mean, I wanted to talk to you because I could tell, the whole time. I mean, there's some people they just hand their clients over for training, and you were deep in it. And when somebody had an amazing answer or a soundbite, this is the flip side of avoiding the pain. You were cheering for the positive moments that were happening. I want to switch gears for a second, and we're in this moment. I'm not going to date it. The mid to end 2020s, we'll say, and the whole PR game is changing, and you have changed as well now after a few decades to go where you need to be in this moment. How are things changing, and what are you doing that's different?
The worlds that we grew up in, Jess, of church and state, editorial side and advertising side, have blended in
Ooh,
unrecognizable ways. And it is the Wild West out there right now. So, as a publicist, it was my job to work with the media to get them to report about my clients in the most positive way possible. And there was never, ever a mention of anything commercial. Definitely not a website, definitely not prices, definitely not any links for anything, because it needed to be objective in a state of, in like an ocean of subjectivity that is paid for things. So anyway, those worlds have changed drastically. And since we specialize in consumer packaged goods, that's something that the media can very easily monetize, right? So we really got very heavy into the affiliate world very early on because we were in the product space. So that's really, without going into a lot of details, that's really how our business has changed the most.
interesting. So we're talking about product placement and affiliates. So who is the client exactly?
Our clients are consumer packaged goods and services that are used. It's anything that you can buy. It's a pair of glasses, it's a ring, it's a piece of clothing, it's pet products, kid products, food, beverages, all different kinds of things. But then we've
Mm.
also worked in the services business too with clean energy, some really interesting products like solar powered EV chargers. But we've worked with big companies, a lot of small ones. You probably know Think Thin nutrition bars. We were the ones who set them up for their $217 million acquisition to Glambia. We worked with Mrs. Fields Cookies, uh, Perrier Jouet Champagne, you can see behind you, a lot of stuff in the health space. Anyway, it's a super fun business, and we're always learning about different things all the time. Love it. We'll never retire.
Oh, very nice. I like that. And we hope that people have that feeling and that attitude when we're supporting clients. And that's so interesting that things are blended. I mean, I think I saw it when I was leaving television. Now it's been 20 years since I left television to doing what I'm doing full time now. But that blending the product placement pieces, all these opportunities where media outlets are sometimes a part of it or not a part of it. So when there's an organization, a company that has a product, you'll navigate it for them. Is that right?
Yes, and it is a very difficult navigation. Um, I don't know. In general, I think that human problems, especially in the service business like me, comes up when there's an expectation, a hidden expectation, which is usually the case, versus what it is that they say that they want. So what our clients need and want are oftentimes very different, but we get very, very clear on what their expectations are so that we can serve them in a way that means something to them.
Oh, and ultimately, what do they need and want? Yeah, usually.
It totally depends. Sometimes it's like, hey, I've got this new product and I just got into Walmart and I just need to get feet into the door at Walmart. And other times it's like, hey, I'm an amazing entrepreneur that built an $85 million company in only 6 years. And I just want to be on the cover of every magazine that talks about women being business owners. It's totally different.
Wow. So much is changing, and it's always amazing to just watch you keeping everybody calm, being, I guess, the calm in the storm, so that you're absorbing whatever it is that they don't have to deal with, so they can get what they want. Something else I wanted to